In a little town called Nazareth, where the houses were made of stone and the streets were dusty, lived a young woman named Mary. She was kind and gentle, with a heart full of love for God. Mary was engaged to be married to a wonderful carpenter named Joseph, a good man who always tried to do what was right. They were planning their life together, a simple and happy life, filled with everyday things like baking bread and working with wood. They didn't know that God had a very big, very special, and very wonderful plan for them, a plan that would change the whole world forever and ever. It was a secret plan that God had been waiting to share since the beginning of time. One day, while Mary was quietly going about her day, perhaps sweeping the floor or humming a little tune, a brilliant light suddenly filled the room. It was brighter than the sun and warmer than any fire. Standing in the light was an angel, a messenger from God himself. His name was Gabriel, and he had come all the way from heaven with a message just for her. Mary was startled and a little bit afraid. She had never seen an angel before. She covered her eyes from the brightness and wondered what this could possibly mean. It wasn't every day that an angel appeared in your home in a small town like Nazareth. The angel Gabriel spoke to her with a voice that sounded like music. "Do not be afraid, Mary," he said gently. "God is very happy with you. He has chosen you for something amazing." Mary listened, her heart beating like a little drum. Gabriel continued, "You are going to have a baby, a son. You will name him Jesus. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High God. His kingdom will be a forever kingdom that never ever ends." Mary was so surprised. How could this be? She wasn't even married yet. It seemed completely impossible, like trying to hold the stars in your hands. To help Mary understand, Gabriel shared another happy secret. "Your cousin, Elizabeth, who everyone said was too old to have children, is also going to have a baby boy," he explained with a smile. "You see, nothing is impossible for God. He can do anything." Hearing this wonderful news about her dear cousin filled Mary's heart with courage. She looked at the angel, and a beautiful peace washed over her. She knew that even though she didn't understand everything, she could trust God. With a brave and trusting heart, she whispered, "I am the Lord's servant. Let everything you have said happen to me." And then, as quickly as he had appeared, the angel was gone. After the angel left, Mary's heart was bursting with a wonderful secret. She had to share her news with someone who would understand. She thought of her older cousin, Elizabeth. The angel had said Elizabeth was having a baby too. So Mary packed a small bag and began a long journey through the rolling hills to visit her. She walked for many days, but she didn't feel tired. Every step she took was filled with excitement and wonder about the incredible thing God was doing. She couldn't wait to see Elizabeth's face and to share the joy that was blooming inside her, a joy as bright as the morning sun. When Mary finally arrived at Elizabeth's house, she called out a cheerful, "Hello!" The moment Elizabeth heard Mary's voice, something amazing happened. The little baby inside Elizabeth, who would one day be named John, gave a happy leap for joy. It was as if he knew that someone very special had arrived. Elizabeth's face lit up with a huge smile, and she was filled with a special happiness from God. She knew, without even being told, that Mary was carrying the Son of God. It was a secret sign between the two mothers and the two babies, a silent, joyful message from heaven. Elizabeth rushed to hug her young cousin. "Mary, you are the most blessed of all women," she exclaimed, her voice full of awe and happiness. "And blessed is the child you will have. Why am I so lucky that the mother of my Lord should come to visit me?" Elizabeth's words were a sweet confirmation for Mary. It was all real. God really had chosen her for this amazing plan. She wasn't just imagining things. Her dear cousin understood completely, and they could share this miraculous time together, supporting each other with love and prayers. Mary and Elizabeth spent their days talking, laughing, and dreaming about the babies God was giving them. They talked about God's promises and how He always keeps them, no matter how long it takes. Mary stayed with Elizabeth for 3 whole months, a special time of friendship and shared secrets. It was a cozy, happy time where 2 ordinary women celebrated the extraordinary things God was doing in their lives. They helped each other, prayed for each other, and waited with hopeful hearts for the arrival of their miracle sons who would bring so much light into the world. While Mary was staying with Elizabeth, her heart was so full of thankfulness that it overflowed into a beautiful song. It wasn't a song she had learned, it was a song that came straight from her happy soul, a gift for God. She sang, "Oh, how my soul praises the Lord, how my spirit rejoices in God my Savior." Her voice was full of pure joy as she celebrated the wonderful God who had looked down from heaven and noticed her, a simple girl from a small town. She felt so small, but God had chosen her for the biggest and most important job in the whole world. In her song, Mary sang about how great and mighty God is. She sang about his powerful arm and his tender mercy, which he shows to all people who love him, from grandmothers and grandfathers all the way down to their children's children. She sang about how God helps the hungry and the poor, lifting them up and filling their lives with good things. But he brings down the proud and the powerful who think they don't need him. Her song was a story about God's upside-down kingdom, where the last are first and the littlest are the most important. Her song was also a song of promises. She remembered all the stories she had heard growing up, the promises God made long, long ago to his people. She sang about the promise God made to Abraham, the great father of their nation, a promise to always love and rescue his children. Mary knew that the baby growing inside her was the answer to all those promises. Jesus was God's great rescue plan in action. He was the one who would make everything sad come untrue and bring God's forever happiness to everyone. It was all happening right now, starting with her. Mary's song, which people now call the Magnificat, was her special way of saying thank you to God. It was a prayer, a celebration, and a declaration of faith all wrapped into one beautiful melody. It showed her brave and trusting heart, a heart that said yes to God's big adventure without knowing all the details. For 3 months, her song of joy filled Elizabeth's home. Then it was time for Mary to go back to Nazareth, carrying her precious secret and her beautiful song of thanks with her, ready for the next part of the story. When Mary returned to her home in Nazareth, she knew she had to tell Joseph. Her heart was a little nervous. How could she explain something so miraculous? How could she tell the man she loved that she was going to have a baby and that the baby was God's son? She found Joseph, her kind and steady Joseph, and she took a deep breath. She told him everything about the angel Gabriel's shining visit, the impossible message, the news about Elizabeth, and the baby she was carrying, who was to be named Jesus. She told him with honesty and with hope in her eyes, praying he would understand. Joseph listened to every word Mary said. But as he listened, his heart filled with a storm of feelings. He was shocked, confused, and very, very worried. This was not part of their simple plan. A baby? Before they were married? His mind couldn't make sense of it. He loved Mary so much, and he had always believed she was good and true. But an angel? A baby from God? It was too much to understand. He looked at Mary's earnest face, but his heart felt heavy with sadness and doubt. What was he supposed to do? What was the right thing to do? In those days, the rules were very strict. If a woman was going to have a baby before she was married, it was a very serious and shameful thing. Joseph was a good man, a man who followed God's laws, but he also had a kind heart. He did not want to cause Mary any public shame or get her into terrible trouble. He couldn't imagine embarrassing her in front of the whole town. The thought made his stomach hurt. He cared for her too much to ever do that. He decided quietly, in his own worried mind, that he would have to break the engagement secretly. That night, Joseph couldn't sleep. He tossed and turned, the questions swirling in his head like sawdust in the wind. He was caught between the rules he knew and the love he felt for Mary. He felt so alone and lost. So he did the only thing he could think of. He prayed. He talked to God, pouring out all his confusion and his worry. Oh God, he might have whispered into the darkness. Please show me what to do. I don't understand. Please send me a sign. Help me know the right path. And so Joseph waited, hoping and praying for an answer, not knowing that God was listening very closely and was about to send a message just for him.